about this movie than any movie ever before.
And it was lost to time, as all good conversations must be.
As best conversations are.
You can never record.
You only know it's good if you don't have anything at the end.
Why do you have John Grisham's The Racketeer?
Because I picked it up at some point. I think my mom was going to throw it away.
Yeah.
And I have a problem where I can't let books be thrown away.
It's just such a specific John Grisham novel to have.
Have you ever read it?
No. But it's like if someone owns a John Grisham, it'd be like the Pelican Brief or like The Firm.
Yeah.
You know? Or like the King of Torts.
Yeah.
But
that's not one that anyone owns, right?
What's this? I didn't even know this one existed, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's about a racketeer, I guess.
Don't assume. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Not Your Father's Movies. I'm Vito.
And I'm Mike.
And it's us today.
We are the Dad Fathers coming at you with one man down energy.
One man down energy due to some stuff in Jesse's life. He's taking a step back for a little bit. Hopefully we'll see him in the next couple of weeks. And due to our poor communication, Letney was left in the dust. It was our fault.
Sorry, Letney. We love you.
We do. We had to get this done, though, just for timing. And so it's just the two of us here talking about Dark Knight Rises. And we've only done one two-person pod before.
Talking about what movie?
Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises!
I wanted to do the whole, like, but I don't know what they're saying.
It's like, what did he say they were saying? Like
They're saying rise, but I don't know what language it is.
Rise.
It doesn't sound as good. So it's a conclusion of our Dark Knight trilogy, but we haven't done a two-person pod since we did our episode mid-year in review last August when Jesse unexpectedly couldn't make it, and Mike and I had to make up an episode to do in 10 minutes, and it really shows. Listen back to that one to hear how unprepared we were, and that's not going to happen tonight. Not tonight.
We have a Google Doc.
And you know what's even funnier? I haven't read it yet. So.
Still more prepared than that episode.
Yeah, I think that one was just like a live stream of just us scrolling down some comingsoon.com. Be like, what's this movie? Not that one.
There's a good 5 minutes of silence in that episode. That's just what's that?
And you pull it up, it's just has a title. I don't know.
I guess
anything. Just going to go back.
Yeah.
But not tonight, folks. So we're talking...
this happens. We're dads. We've got kids. We've got lives. We've got jobs. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. So, much like Christian Bale in The Dark Knight Rises, sometimes you don't have any cartilage in your leg.
Nope.
That's just how you're going to have to live your life. And we figure out how to forge ahead and rise anyway.
Yeah.
And like a phoenix or a bat rising from the ashes, we're going to do an episode tonight.
It'll be glorious.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be fantastic. And if it's not, well, screw you. This is free.
It's going to be like jumping. It's like when he jumps off the ledge.
Yeah.
And instead of getting to the other ledge,
he falls.
He just fell.
I was watching that. I was like, how is he not dead?
Every time, yeah.
How are you not dead? Your spine didn't snap? Your stomach didn't shoot out your mouth?
This is a guy who just broke his back.
Yeah, just broke his back, and he doesn't have any cartilage in anything. But honestly, seeing him whine so much when he gets that sweet ass brace on his knee, it turns on. He's like, ooh. I was like, listen, my granddad had nothing in both knees, and that man didn't whine at all. I mean, he cursed constantly, but it wasn't whining. So here it's the Dark Knight Rises. And let's first start with what have we / our family been watching? You got anything off the top of your head, Mike?
Well, off the top of my head, last night my wife and I started watching How I Met Your Father. We watched How I Met Your Mother 10 years ago or so.
Fond memories of that show.
Fond memories of it. It was great. Wanted to see if How I Met Your Father stacked up to Ted Mosby and the gang. I still don't know. We got through 5 minutes of it and switched immediately over to Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which was amazing. It was just as funny as it always is.
Yeah.
So, still watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I guess.
Probably not going to continue with the How I Met Your Father, huh?
Probably not.
Nice.
It's got a 31% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Especially for a brand new comedy.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'll probably skip it. I like that show so much. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Stop trying.
Yeah. There's a great laugh track in it. It's working overtime.
We need a laugh track. I'm going to start inserting laugh tracks where I think someone said something funny that no one acknowledged.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's good. We showed my daughter. I meant to mention this last time with The Dark Knight because it happened at the same time. But we showed my daughter The Incredibles for the first time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's 4 years old and definitely was scared at times. I forgot. We discussed this off mic before, but I forgot how big a deal and how many jokes are made out of that one guy trying to kill himself, but then he gets stopped by it, which is a great joke. And it's still really funny. It's just funny that like in kids entertainment has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And that it used to be like it used to be open to adults as well. And now it's very strictly commodified in certain things you don't talk about.
Yeah.
But no, she enjoyed the experience a lot. She was very scared, very like she laughed out loud when Dash hits the water. Yeah.
That's a great scene.
Yeah.
I think every kid, I mean, I remember when my kids were watching that, like my kids just like threw back their heads laughing with just pure joy. It was like you watch the tension that the movie had been building into them just evaporate and explode in joy when he's able to run on water.
Yes.
Which is cool. Like that's a cool, I don't know, way they bake that into the movie.
I mean, I don't want to step on whenever we do that episode, but like that's one of the classic dad family movies, you know?
Yeah.
And it's one that a dad can enjoy watching by himself, but it's also one that it's a truly communal whole family experience. And it's rare to get movies like that.
Yeah.
So we watched that, and then I also tried out the James Gunn's The Peacemaker TV show on HBO.
Is that any good?
It's very funny.
Oh, really?
I actually think that The Peacemaker was probably my favorite character from that movie.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think John
Suicide
Cena.
Squad.
Yeah.
A lot of suicide tonight.
A lot of suicide. And John Cena in particular is very funny. I think he's found really his role, and he's sinking into it. It's goofy. It's irreverent. It's very filthy. It's really funny. Definitely R-rated. But it also opens with the opening credit scene is a dance number. Okay. Between on all the cast. Everyone is dressed up and everything, and they're all dancing, and it looks awful, but it's really great.
That sounds wonderful.
So I'll definitely be continuing to watch that. All right, so I guess closing out that segment, let's move into some cast and crew. This is where the Google Doc that Mike has come up with is going to be really fun, because I'm just going to read this out loud. Is this a high watermark of actors? Is it a high watermark of actors?
Well, when I typed that,
yeah,
what I was thinking was, this is kind of a wild moment, because Christian Bale, I feel like this is almost, in a certain way, a high watermark for him. Like, at the end of the Dark Knight trilogy, he's done a lot of work in the last 10 years, but this is kind of a capstone or something in his career, being Batman. I don't know if capstone's the right word, but it's a pinnacle.
He's the only Batman to have nailed 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and to get to the end of the story, to do a full story, like that's huge. But then we've also got we've got Gary Oldman still, we've got Michael Caine, and then we've got like some new people.
Don't jump ahead here. We got to get to the second sentence.
Oh,
also, I kind of feel like Michael Caine and Christian Bale are phoning it in here, and everyone else is having fun. I don't think that's wrong.
You're just reading the things that I wrote down now. That's not fun.
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
you made the show.
But if I was going to talk about it, I'd be like, hey, what do you think of this? You know, what do you think of Christian Bale here?
So you want me to read it slower and flatter?
No, definitely not. This is not fun for anybody.
Everyone's loving it.
No,
everyone's loving it.
Not me.
You're not the audience. You're participating in the art. No, okay. So Michael Caine, I think, is actually doing. He's gone for so much of the movie. But he does have an incredibly emotional scene that I thought he was very committed to.
Yeah.
He's breaking his heart to confess to Christian Bale, you know, what he's done. He burnt the letter for Maggie Gyllenhaal, the letter that would have absolved Batman of the pain, because he didn't want to put him through the pain of rejection. Right. And that's a pretty controversial choice for him. But this movie, you know, is so much about, you know, The Dark Knight's so much about lies. And this movie is so much about the consequences of your lies.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought that he nailed the moment. I thought he nailed Alfred's character arc. And he's also just an old man, you know?
Yeah.
And I think Christian Bale is doing a lot more subtle work. I think that everyone else is so much bigger than him. Like in the movie, like you got to share a screen with Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy is doing the maximum amount of things an actor can do, right?
With a mask covering most of their face.
Yeah, he's doing the mask. He's got the shaved head. He's bulky as anything. He's scary. He's doing a weird voice. Like with all that, what's left? What else is there for an actor to do except kind of like receive that really passively?
Yeah.
Catwoman, like she gets to be fun and like brazen, and he's kind of an older Batman. He's trying to have something with her, but she's scared of him. He's trying not to push her too much. I think he's doing good work. It's just that it's so much quieter than all the villains, right?
Yeah.
Because the movie has a lot of villains in it.
Yeah, there are. There's so many people in it in general. I mean, even Gary Oldman probably does. Well, he's got a lot to do in this movie.
Yeah, but he does most of it from a bed.
Yeah,
from a hospital bed, screaming at people.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, like in terms of villains, like Catwoman functions as a villain a lot of times. We got Bane. We have the also spoilers for Dark Knight Rises. Don't come and listen to this if you haven't seen the movie. Marion Coteyard as Talia. So that's three. But then you also have Matthew Modine's character, the one just underneath Gordon.
Right.
And he's a villain functionally for most of the movie.
Yeah.
Because he's so terrible at his job. He's a villain of incompetence.
Yeah. And he is trying to get the bat.
Yeah.
He's trying to get Batman.
Yeah. Pulls away from the raid of the stock exchange to chase the guy chasing the robbers. What a dumbass.
I'm going to do what Gordon never could do. What, be a total asshole? Because, yeah.
Good job. Egg on your face, buddy. But here, speaking of Tom Hardy, all right, so Tom Hardy, the man, the myth, the face mask wearer.
Yeah.
So you have here, Band of Brothers, then 3 exclamation marks.
Only 2. But yes,
2?
Band of Brothers. I was rewatching that recently.
Interesting.
In the last couple of years. Huh? And I hadn't realized he was in it, but he came on screen. I was like, oh, Tom Hardy!
I feel like if he hadn't have gotten like a couple very specific roles, I think he would have just played as a character actor for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
He seems really comfortable doing that.
Yeah. Just
so happens he's really handsome.
Yeah. Well, if he hadn't gotten Bronson,
I
think that Bronson's the one that really pushed him into being a weirdo.
Yeah.
And he's kind of just been that. I mean, like, he hasn't just been that, but...
Pretty much. Like, the only times that the mainstream Hollywood has, like, gotten him is, like, remember that movie, This Means War, with Chris Pine and Reese Witherspoon? And he's one of the romantic leads. The movie's about a love triangle, right? And he's one of the romantic leads, and that feels so weird.
Yeah.
Like, that does not work. Yeah. Tom Hardy is not in a romantic comedy. Yeah. And if he is, it's called Taboo. It's on FX.
Did you ever see the movie Lawless?
I did, yeah.
That's more of a standard role there, too.
But he gets to do a lot of stuff with that one. He gets to be kind of fat, and he talks really low down. Yeah. Because he got his throat slit.
Yeah.
And his voice box.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just like looking through it, and I saw that.
Tom Hardy does it if
back
it's
a
weird
bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And Venom. Which is weird.
Where he
gets like the weirdest super.
He gets to be like sweaty and like greasy and just like mumbling to himself.
He's just insane on screen all the time.
He's a crazy person, except there's also a symbiote, you know?
Yeah.
But also, I mean, like everyone else who was in Band of Brothers was also in Black Hawk Down.
Right.
Incredible amount of people in that one, too. And you don't recognize any of them because they all have shaved heads.
Yeah. Orlando Bloom's in that.
Yes. And it's almost unrecognizable, too.
Yeah.
Just like pale and stuffed inside of a combat suit.
Yeah.
And so Layer Cake, I don't remember him Layer Cake.
I didn't remember him either, but I looked at like pictures. Okay, Layer Cake, I need to revisit that soon.
I think I do too.
I remember loving it.
Yeah.
The one time I saw it, it like blew my mind.
Yeah. I can't remember why. I don't remember anything that happens in it.
Daniel Craig and Tom Hardy, just a bunch of people.
I know there's no cake. I'm pretty sure I remember there's not
about
cake.
Cocaine.
Yeah. I know, but I'm pretty sure that I was watching it kind of wondering, like, where is the layered cake? And, like, there's no cake in the movie.
Maybe the cake is the friends we made along.
I hate that. And then, let's see, Handsome Bob. I do remember him in Handsome Bob. Yep. Definitely, if that movie had come out 5 years later, Guy Ritchie would have gotten canceled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Bronson. The Butter Me Up scene is so upsetting.
That whole movie is one of the most upsetting things I've seen.
I'm surprised you watched it.
It was like super late one night. And I was like, you know what? This Bronson movie, I got to see it. Yeah. People are talking about it. And I saw it and I was like, well, I saw that.
So that's Nicholas Winding Refn before he like gets Drive, right?
Yeah.
And so he starts out with his like Pusher trilogy about drug dealers and like we're in his native country. He's got stuff like Fear X. He's like some really subversive, really on the fringe shit. And then Mads Mikkelsen in Valhalla Rising, his Viking epic, which is incredibly upsetting and insane. It's also the first time I think that Mads Mikkelsen loses an eye in a movie, which is good to keep track of.
Yeah.
And it's funny that with Drive, it worked. Drive, he connected to the public consciousness. in his study of like male brutality and fragility, like connected with everyone, and then he just has never been able to do it again.
Yeah.
He never did until then. Never did it again. Wild career. Sorry, I will never really get to talk about him. So.
Yeah.
We got Inception, of course. Eames.
Yep.
Gorgeous Eames.
And that's when he first started working with Christopher Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think everyone in Hollywood kind of started seeing him like, oh, this is a weird guy.
Yeah.
Like but he can do charming. We didn't know he could be charming.
Yeah.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I don't remember him in that.
I don't remember him in it either. I thought that you would.
I think he dies in the beginning.
Probably.
I think he's the character whose body you see is in the first 5 minutes. And then you see him with some dialogue later.
Okay.
I think he's the one that's in the homosexual relationship.
Okay.
I think he's the other half of that gets killed off.
Interesting. Okay. Gosh, that movie was so hard to keep track of.
Yeah. And then with Warrior.
Yeah, Warrior. Was that his first like leading role? Was that a leading role for him?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a two-hander.
Yeah, it's him and
Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
And he's really good in it too. I mean, he's very like in all of his most popular movies, he's very closed off, right? Doesn't get to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just very brooding, but he's a very believable brooding, hurt brooding. I really love this. And as you wrote down here, after this becomes one of the new generation basic dad actors. Locke, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant, Dunkirk, Venom, and Peaky Blinders. Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like he's working to not be like kind of a general leading man, right? Like that's what you said. Like he's trying not to do just like the easy roles.
Yeah.
But he's still, I mean, I don't know, with Mad Max, like he can't not be
but that's
basic dad actor.
That's the only Mad Max movie that's not really about Max,
Yeah, that's true.
It seems like every time he does something, it can't be really that. Like Venom, he's carrying a whole superhero franchise, but it's not really. Every time he gets a chance, like, this is just you, he's like, maybe we do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just thinks it's more interesting because he's right. Like in The Revenant, he completely makes way for Leo to just eat the scenery, and then he's just kind of a weirdo in the background. I mean, he's evil. Right? Yeah. He's the ultimate bad guy. And their fight scene at the end of that movie is it's so upsetting it's not fun.
Yeah.
Like the Raid 2 is upsetting but fun, and that fight you're just like, all right, this is brutal. Like this is two guys just pounding on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then but covers his face. Dunkirk covers his face. Mad Max covers his face.
Have you seen Peaky Blinders?
I haven't seen him in Peaky Blinders.
Okay. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He plays I mean, like, he's weird, he's got a weird voice, he's a weird dude. He is the leader of the Jewish mob or mafia or whatever it is.
Right.
And he's hilarious and brutal.
Do their yarmulkes have razor blades in them too?
No. Everything has razor blades in it. No, I loved to see him in that. Like, he was like, oh my gosh, it's Tom Hardy.
Nice. I need to do Peaky Blinders again. I lost it. Just bored me when it started.
Yeah,
I had a hard time.
Yeah, I got stuck in the middle. I'm not up to date on it, so maybe someday.
We have here also here joining.
Oh, but wait! I wanted to say though, like, so one of the things about this is that this is kind of interesting because Christian Bale is like the dad actor.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like he has kind of kept on that mantle still.
Yeah.
In a way, like for our like generation.
He won't let it go.
He won't let it go, and he's great. Yeah. Love him. But Tom Hardy is kind of becoming that. I feel like in this movie was when it sort of really took off.
Yeah, but he's
sort of
the thing with Christian Bale is Christian Bale is not scared to carry a movie.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
In fact, he doesn't do supporting work. It's never like and Christian Bale.
Yeah,
it might someday. I mean,
well, he's going to be in the Marvel, the Thor: Love and Thunder,
right? But he's the heavy.
Yeah,
That's true. And so in that case, it's really about Thor and then him.
Yeah,
especially if he's really good. I mean, like we saw with Thor Ragnarok. I mean, Cate Blanchett held her own and gets so much screen time.
Yeah, that's true.
But I also like I'm just thinking of Al Pacino as Melvin Schwartz talking about like and then you're the heavy, talking about like being the bad guy. I'm wondering if we're entering into Christian Bale as bad guy territory.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Meanwhile, Tom Hardy's like, I'll be a bad guy or a good guy. I don't care.
Just as long as I don't have to talk too much or too easily understood.
Don't show my face completely.
Yeah. If you do, it has to look bad.
I wonder if he called Christopher Nolan and was like, "Why didn't you let me be in Tenet?" I would have been unintelligible and worn a mask the whole time. It's perfect.
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
This Robert Pattinson jerk.
He likes diction. I'll mumble my way through everything. But also returning, also from Inception, here is Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who gets a start on Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah,
as a kid, I remember him.
Yeah,
and he's just really engaging. And then, as sometimes happens, he's young, he's attractive, and he's talented. So what he did, though, which I think is really interesting, that a lot of people don't do, is he didn't tie himself to a franchise. He went deep. He did indie cinema for a long time. And really ground it out. It's what Robert Pattinson decided to do after having his franchise.
Right, yeah.
Is work with promising auteurs and make interesting work. And then he did that, and then he never really stopped doing that, and now he's just off doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Like he never wanted to jump in on a big movie. Like Inception's like his biggest movie.
Wasn't this in this?
Yeah.
And it seems like it was setting him up. At least I remember after this movie came out, we were all talking about how it was setting him up to take on the role of the Batman as Robin, because he's Robin.
Yeah.
But then it just never turned into anything.
I think that maybe Nolan did that to show that the Batman never dies.
Yeah.
But I mean, Nolan was involved in this in with DC still.
Yeah, right.
And I don't think he ever pushed to have this happen.
Yeah.
I think he just did that to make sure that you knew that Gotham always had a Dark Knight, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what.
Right.
And I mean, I can't see him doing that.
Oh, yeah, no.
I can't.
That would have been really weird.
Could he have done it? Yes. But it's kind of just not who he is. He's Joseph Gordon-Levitt as an artist is just such a quiet, really sensitive guy who is really funny. Like he just had his show on Apple TV, which is unfortunately canceled, but I watched a few episodes of that and it's great.
Oh, really?
Really fantastic.
What was the show?
It has a really nondescript name. Mr. Corman.
Mr. Corman.
Yeah, and so Mr. Josh Corman, this teacher, is having a really hard time because his anxiety looks like an impending apocalypse. So there's this magical realism to the show where like he's imagining like a giant asteroid that's always like hovering over him, like over the town, over Earth. And things in his life are getting worse, and he's trying to get help, but no one can help him, and he doesn't know how to describe this to therapists, this impending doom feeling. But it's a great representation of anxiety, and he wrote and directed and starred and produced it.
That's awesome.
And that's all he wants to do. Like he wants to do his stuff.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get dragged into something he's not interested in.
Yeah. Well, and so he started this Hit Record thing.
Yeah.
Which is
Hit Record with Joe.
Yeah, Hit Record with Joe. Which is like a community of collaborating.
Anyone,
yeah.
I follow him on all of his social media platforms, and I've used the Hit Record a couple times.
Yeah,
like he's asked, hey, if you want to do some voice acting, I need you to read this sentence.
Yeah,
just read it normal. And I participated a couple times, and it was fun. It was interesting to do it because you don't realize how stupid you sound or how awkward you sound until you record yourself and then listen to it.
Yeah,
especially if you're alone reading lines, and he says just sound natural, and you're reading like that's the least natural way I've ever sounded. But he's in tons of work. Yeah, you pointed out Brick. I love that.
Did he write that one too, or lead it in some way?
I don't think so.
That's
I think that's all Rian Johnson.
That's right. Yeah.
But he's actually been in every Rian Johnson movie.
Really?
Yep. Even if it's just on the phone.
Oh.
Like he's a voice on the phone in Knives Out, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it says. He's a voice in that and in Star Wars, and
he's also a voice. Yeah, he just likes to come in and work with Ryan, and that's great because like Ryan works with his brother a lot.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
He's just one of the guys.
Yeah, but I do have to say that a lot of the work that he's chosen to do recently, I'm a little bit bummed that he doesn't just do other things.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like Trial of Chicago 7 was the first time that he did something. Well, I mean, he chose Snowden and stuff, but I mean, that was a while ago.
I think Snowden, right, was to work with Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
Right. And then after that, the Karma Detective show was weird. It was like a Russian. I can't tell if it's supposed to be comedic, but it's played completely straight. I don't know. He just does weird stuff now.
Yeah.
I miss him.
Weird stuff. Yeah.
I miss him. Come back.
We also got Anne Hathaway, who I had completely forgotten was in this movie.
Yeah.
Just absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. She came on the screen and was like, Anne Hathaway's in this?
Yeah.
You should have seen me when I was watching this, because I haven't seen this movie since it came out.
Oh, cool.
And so every single person that came on was like, that guy! That girl! That guy! Marion Coteyard! Like,
that's amazing.
I was just freaking out.
She's so good in this,
Yeah,
too. She gets to play kind of menacing, kind of smoky, flirty, sultry,
Mm-hmm.
but scared too sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's stuff I hadn't seen from her then.
Yeah. I mean, Princess Diaries is probably still her best work, because it's great, not because...
Les Miserables. It's Les Miserables. Dude, I was listening to some Les Miserables last night, literally last night while I was doing the dishes, and my daughter never heard it.
Oh, yeah?
And I turned on some, and I skipped one of the songs. I was like, that's too sad. And I went right to Fontaine's song. And Jill said, you skipped that last one to listen to this one? And I poked my head around the counter, and there was just tears going down my face.
That one's too sad. I'm going to listen to this one.
I dreamed a dream.
Oh my gosh.
And especially that version, like when she like actually starts crying halfway through. Oh my gosh.
She just breaks.
Oh man. It's so raw. I love her. But you're right. Broken Out in Princess Diaries. She's great.
Yeah.
I remember everyone was saying shut up for a long time.
I love that movie. I haven't seen it. I can't wait for my daughters to get a little bit older.
We just watched it 2 years ago.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah?
It works.
Good. That's good. How old do you think?
Probably 6.
Good. Okay.
I think 6. Because you just gotta it's more dialogue.
Yeah.
You gotta get with the dialogue, but it's funny as hell.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
And then I also say that thing to myself when I get up and look in the mirror, this is as good as it's ever gonna get. But Ella Enchanted, I remember that. And she's fantastic in Devil Wears Prada. I remember in Get Smart.
Yeah. Love that.
And then Interstellar, man. Great in Interstellar.
Oh,
really good work.
Fantastic.
Let's see, we got Marion Coteyard. Probably best known for Annette.
I don't know. Is she best known
for best work? I would say, yeah. That's the opera singer in Annette.
Is that it?
That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't even think we need to mention anything else.
I don't think so.
Just
either.
Annette.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Mike hates Annette. If you listen back to our top 10 episodes,
another movie that she's in that I really don't like is that Terrence Malick movie that she's in, where she just like spins around in the field, and apparently Malick gave her like Hegel to read and stuff.
Is that Song to Song?
No, it's To the Wonder.
Is it To the Wonder?
It's To the Wonder with Ben Affleck.
And is that Alicia Vikander?
Wait, I thought she was Marion Coteyard was in it too.
I thought it was a love triangle.
There's a bunch of girls.
I hate that movie.
Yeah,
that movie's awful.
It's pretty forgettable.
You know what's worse than that movie though?
What?
It's Night of Cups.
Really? With Christian Bale?
Wow. The movie's terrible. But no, she's fantastic.
Sorry for people who love Terrence Malick.
I think the people who love Terrence Malick don't love those two movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's better Terrence Malick.
For sure. I actually would love to talk to someone that liked Night of Cups so they could talk to me about what they liked about it.
Yeah.
The things they liked, I probably disliked. Big Fish is really fantastic. I have not seen La Vie en Rose. People don't seem like they like it. She's good in Public Enemies. She's great in Inception.
Mm-hmm.
Great. She's okay in Midnight in Paris. It's okay.
That's not. Yeah. I don't like.
But thank you for mentioning this too. She's fantastic in The Immigrant.
Yeah,
she is the.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that movie is fantastic. I have not seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
do yourself. That is a searing drama.
Okay.
And then Ben Mendelsohn, of course, playing Daggett, little bastard who tries to intimidate Tom Hardy.
That was just the most amazing scene.
I love when he's standing like next to him. He's like, that man is huge,
and he just like sort of lies his hand on Ben on his neck.
It's so upsetting.
And he's just like, what's going on? Yeah.
No, Ben Mendelsohn, one of the great heavies of all time. Rogue One, he's fantastic in Animal Kingdom, bad guy in Ready Player One. Like, he's always good, even if the movie he's in is dog shit.
He's in Cyrano.
Mm-hmm. Also, probably best known for Bloodline. I think Bloodline.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's amazing in Bloodline. Great. He actually plays kind of a Joker character in that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then Aidan Gillen.
Yes, Aidan Gillen.
Okay, so Aidan Gillen stars as a CIA agent in the beginning of the movie who is involved in the plane thing, right?
Yeah.
When the plane gets upended. Yeah. Now, he's meant to be American.
He's not American.
So Christopher Nolan hires a man from Ireland
with one of the heaviest accents.
And hearing him attempt this flat American accent is hilarious. you can't do it.
I don't understand.
And he's also got the Aidan Gillen thing with the R's.
Yeah.
Like, the R's are weird.
Yeah.
And he always, like, talks out of the side of his mouth.
Yeah.
And here when he's trying to use his whole mouth. Like, stop.
You just look like you don't know what you're doing on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was anyone else busy?
He's gotten better since this movie.
Yes.
Probably best known by most people as Lord Peter Baelish
Littlefinger
in the Game of Thrones.
Yep.
But I know him best for a movie called Calvary,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie.
Right.
It's right up there for sure.
He plays the atheist surgeon.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene where he puts a cigarette out in a tumor. It's amazing.
It's fantastic movie. Yeah. It's great.
Did you ever watch Luther?
No, I didn't. Is he in that?
No, but there's one of the main series leads, DCI Ripley. I forget the actor's name. He is in this movie for exactly like 3 frames.
Really?
He plays one of the guys with an assault rifle, and he's looking right into the camera, and he turns to the side, and then he's gone. But in a movie where you continually recognize people, I was like, holy shit, it's DCI Ripley. Well, my wife did. I didn't see it until afterwards. Here, scroll down. I want to see what his name is.
There's so many names in here, dude.
Oh yeah, Juno Temple. I forgot Juno Temple was in this. Yes. Oh, and Thomas Lennon. Yes, the comedian.
Yeah, he's the doctor.
Yes.
Who also kind of looks like Sergeant Boyle, which is probably part of why I was recognizing him.
Joe Latrulio.
Yeah. But one guy that we didn't ever mention was Nestor Carbonell, who I know from Lost. Remember, he's one of like the dudes on the island on.
I didn't watch
Lost.
Lost.
Yeah, but he's been in the last 2,
wearing just the most amount of eyeshadow.
Oh, I think his eyes are just like that.
No, I just want to know who this guy is. Yes, Warren Brown.
Warren Brown. Okay. Huh.
Yep. If you scroll down, you'll see his name in Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
Where is it? There it is. Mercenary Security #1.
Ah, love that guy.
It's bizarre though, but it's one of my favorite TV shows, and he's like a big part of it. And then he shows up for 1, 2, or 2 frames. It's wild.
Well, I feel like that's the case. That's part of why I'm thinking like this movie is this is a weird movie for me.
Yeah.
Like because of the timing of it and like where it comes. There's a lot of people who are sort of like, it's like the high point of their career or something like that. It's this sort of like big moment in their career. They come to it, and there's a lot of stuff that came out of it for them as well. I don't know. It's a weird movie where it comes in my time of life. So
yeah,
maybe let's talk about that a little bit.
Where was that?
Yeah, it was 2012. I was just about to get through my junior year of college. I think something like that. I think. Yeah, I was just about to start my senior year when it came out. And so for me personally, it was like, here we are, we're kind of at the end of an era and about to start a new era. That's what this movie is about in general. We're at the end of an era. What's going to happen? What's the big cataclysm that's going to occur? And with all of these actors who come in, I feel like it's interesting because it's like after the Batman Begins and the Dark Knight, we also have Marvel starting to take off as well, and superhero movies have become something that actors want to be a part of.
Everyone wants another car,
Yeah, everyone wants, and like it wasn't like they were ever bad to be in for money, but it's that they're respected for art as well, in a way that I don't think they really were before.
I agree.
And so we've got people like Anne Hathaway and Tom Hardy who have come now to be known as like actors. An actor and an actress, like they do good work, who are coming in here as not the main character.
It's when you walked out of the theater for the first time, how did you feel?
I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was great. I loved the end.
How'd the people with you feel?
They hated it.
Yeah,
everybody hated the way this movie ended.
Yes, I was one of them.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about that.
So it's funny because I can point to the things that I hated about it, which are now things that I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
I think at this point, from the change from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight was stark. The Batman Begins is a leaner, but still really comic booky sort of movie. And then The Dark Knight is really mean and aggressive and long and intense and punishing.
Yeah.
Very thrilling experience, right? And this one is just not that. And I think everyone, all the little teenage weirdos and not, were expecting The Dark Knight again.
Yeah.
give me that with just these villains. Whereas like, give me the intensity, give me like the Jesse talked about how that movie moves in sequences,
Right.
And it really does. And each sequence ramps up the tension more and more. And it kind of like pop off constantly.
Yeah. This one does not.
No.
Not at all.
And I think that was really jarring for everyone. Even the action scenes, which are really cool, are not as intentional as the ones from The Dark Knight. And by that I mean like it's not like where they're setting up with the God's Eye, like where the Joker is, and you gotta go here, and you gotta rescue the hostages here. They lay out the action scene for you, and then they do it.
Yeah.
Right. This one is very sprawling, and the action that does take place is often interrupted for story reasons. There's not a lot of it.
Yeah.
And there are long breaks. Like this movie takes place over a course of like 6 months.
Yeah.
And that's weird.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight takes place in like 5 days.
Yeah.
And Batman Begins takes place across like 2 or 3 months, And
it takes about half the movie for Batman to put on his suit. Like he's a broken person.
Yeah.
Which is very weird.
Batman does not show up for a long time. Yeah. And when he does, he's not great.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it really is. And then when it comes to the ending, it's very clear in the movie now that I'm watching it again, when he says it takes a better man than me to make the autopilot work. And then later on, it's just assumed that he fixed it. Like there's one line of dialogue where he says he pretty much fixed it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, it worked. And everyone's like, but we wouldn't have time to do that. And I was like, I don't know. How long would it have taken? Maybe Lucius Fox doesn't know anything about computers.
Yeah,
because remember,
he just didn't have time
in the God's Eye scene. In the God's Eye scene, the only thing he has to do is like hit a button.
Yeah,
and it all goes away. Bruce Wayne is the one that's like really good at this stuff.
Yeah,
so it makes sense that maybe it was like a little hard software issue. Just like download the patch.
Yeah, he's the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah,
like he doesn't deal with that stuff.
And so I was let down and betrayed by it because I wanted Batman to sacrifice himself, because I had a really hard time in the way I viewed Batman as thinking Batman could be happy. Batman can't be happy.
Yeah.
But then I was like, that's exactly, they agreed with me. Yeah. Batman can't be happy.
Yeah, thank you.
So Batman has to
I've been saying this for 10 years.
Yeah. So Batman dies.
Batman dies. Yeah. And that's why he didn't tell anyone he fixed the autopilot.
Mm-hmm. He had to go away.
Yeah.
He had to continue living as a legend because he finally did it.
Amazing.
So no, I don't get it. And I also have to say, now that we're here talking about this, like after having done this full 180, this is only the third time I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
I like this more than The Dark Knight.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
I like this more than Dark Knight.
You like this more than Dark Knight?
Yeah. I do. It's more interesting to me.
What? Okay. Wow. What?
I just do. I think it's more interesting. I think it what it has to say about Batman and his legacy, what it has to say about Gotham. I think everything that the series has been building to is kind of here. They laid out this grand opera for us. Yeah. So as a movie, I'm not saying it's a better movie than The Dark Knight. There's plenty of things wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I like it more. And I think it's braver. I think it does a lot of stuff. Every time you think it could do something, it does not that.
Yeah.
And it goes a different direction. And as I'm getting older, I am enjoying that more and more.
I mean, like the scene, there's a lot of incredible scenes in this. They're amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if like the whole really works exactly. I mean, like the story, the whole, like the themes work, the story sort of like makes sense.
The story is very theme driven.
It just takes so much time to get there. Like I felt really tired.
I liked that so much. I really could. I felt like it needed to be that long. I think if it was shorter, it would have felt rushed. Yeah. And I think this movie needs to feel leisurely. And that way, I actually think it does something really interesting. I think it's something that Nolan never does again.
Yeah.
He never takes it slow.
What about Dunkirk?
Dunkirk? No. Oh, no. Dunkirk is not slow.
It's not slow.
Dunkirk is like insane. Interstellar is a movie made up of sequences. Mm-hmm. Every new sequence is a new thing that he's introducing you to.
Yeah.
Like the only movie that I can even compare this to would be Insomnia, but Insomnia is a very simple mystery story,
right? About
like 4 people.
Yeah.
And it's actually intense in its own way because there's always something going on. It's just really quiet.
Yeah.
And this movie is loud,
it's huge,
and it's quiet, and it's epic, and it's long. And he never tried this before. He's never done it since.
Yeah.
He's never made an epic.
Yeah.
And here's an epic. And it answers all the questions about live long enough to see yourself become a villain. It's not who I am, but what I do that defines me.
And it really delves into like the lie.
Yeah.
Like this is all founded on these principles that are at their essence wrong.
Yeah.
Like it's wrong to lie, even if it's for a good purpose. It's wrong to be a vigilante, even if it's for a good purpose.
It actually comes. That's why when we started to talk about themes in Batman Begins, I kind of wanted to delay talking about some of that because it all comes up to here.
Yeah.
Everything thematically has been building to this movie. And this movie deals with all of the shit that it's raised and all the stuff that it's tried to get away with. And it answers it all and says, you know what? Look what an untenable thing has been created because of how long we've lied and backdoored things and just tried to glue it together to get it to fix. And now we're at a point where we need a hard reset as a society. That's how far we've come because of these lies and because of these people living in the shadows that are allowed to continue going on. This is what happens when heroes get tired and get sloppy. Like, here it all is. And it's great. And it has to end with everyone dying, basically.
Yeah.
And, gosh, I really love that.
That's why I was really touched this time by Gordon and how he's like, for the last, 10 years or however long it's been, I have been touting this guy who held my son at gunpoint. How can I live with myself? How do I keep going?
His wife can't live with him.
Yeah, they've left. And like when I saw it when I was 22 or whatever I was, like that didn't resonate at all. I was like, well, because you had to, because it's like the right thing to do or whatever. It's like, man, yeah, I could never live with myself if that was the case.
No,
even if it's for a good reason.
Nothing. Yeah, and I couldn't keep it up. But these characters, have had to live with this, have had to try to keep going in the face of insurmountable odds. And it was now Gordon's turn to do it. Batman took the whole world on his shoulders, and he broke.
Yeah.
And Gordon took the whole world on his shoulders, and he didn't break, but everything else did.
Yeah.
Because the only thing he had time for was just this, right? It's beautiful. And it's understated and subtle and emotional, which also Christopher Nolan is not typically known for.
Yeah.
But there's a lot here through every character.
And one of the leads is a woman.
Yeah.
Which Christopher Nolan is also not really known for.
And she's actually, I disliked parts of her, but it's mostly because I just disliked what she was doing.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's what the movie wants you to think, right?
I mean, like, she has parts.
Yeah.
Some of which you can dislike.
And she's got motivation.
Yeah.
A very clear motivation for doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
And she wants out just as much as he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only character that is not written extremely well is the Talia al Ghul, Marion Coteyard part.
Yeah.
Because once you
that
know
was a 180 that made very
But once you know the 180, you can't unknow it.
Yeah.
Once she shows up, you're like, oh, that's right, she's the bad guy. And then
unless you wait 10 years to see it again, because I had no memory of it.
You didn't remember her being bad?
I think I realized like when he's in the pit and like they're telling the story of the kid who gets out, and and then I was remembering like, oh, I remember thinking the kid was Bane, but it's not. Bane's the guy who saved the kid.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's right. Talia al Ghul's in here. It's a girl. Who is it? And then the rest of the movie, I was trying to figure it out. I was like, oh, it's Marion Coteyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you're there,
I figured it out before she revealed.
You see the machinations of the movie, which I don't think is bad.
Yeah.
But it just shows like how the League of Shadows was ready, like at every turn, to infiltrate themselves into the best possible place.
Yeah.
To be not only the ransomer, but also the ransomee.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
I actually really liked that. It showed the League of Shadows was so much scarier than just Ra's al Ghul with a giant microwave emitter.
Like instead, they have a fission bomb, which I have heard doesn't actually work. But
dude, you can say you say who's it? What's a bomb?
Yeah, here's the thing about.
But the thing that's cool about it is how they brought Bruce Wayne down, and then how they show that in the tabloids, and you kind of when the specific headline is like Bruce Wayne doubles down and loses everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've seen that tabloid. Yeah. Like, it allows you for 1 minute behind an imaginary curtain to see how the world's being puppeted by things and tells you that's real. And it's really satisfying because we see that in real life and we always imagine like, oh, there must be some sort of puppet master. And this movie's like, yes, there is. It's Bane. who scared me so much because like, not only does he wreck Bruce Wayne financially and destroy him completely, like bring him low.
Totally breaks him.
And it's not even hard. And he moves so fast.
Yeah.
That's what's so scary. He's big and fast and smart.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything scarier than that. Like a 250-pound, 6'2" man who also can outplay me at chess.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a lot. But I think it's really getting us.
Yeah, we're really into the movie now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would be a
Well, I mean, that's crazy, though, because the nostalgia that I have for this movie is arguing about this movie.
Oh, sure.
With so many people.
Right.
And that's kind of cool that
there's no
that now you've been convinced that I was right. I mean, we didn't argue about this. But
I agree with the opinion that you hold, but I didn't know you held it.
I held it back then, and I was right.
Yes. Yes, you were.
Yes.
And I'm sure we fought about it at some point. And
I'm sure we did.
Yeah.
I'm sure we did. Do you want to show this to your kids?
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. But I was thinking about it, and I previously hesitated with showing them The Dark Knight because I wanted to do it close to Batman Begins. But after having seen this, I don't want to do that.
You can wait.
I think I'm going to have to wait. I think now that I'm not going to... Because I can't see showing this to a kid right after they see The Dark Knight.
There's so many things that are like...
it just undoes so much that happens, right? Yeah. In a logical way, in a way that I think makes a lot of sense. But that movie's such a roller coaster, and this movie is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see how any kid walking out of The Dark Knight and walking into this wouldn't just hate this. For being too slow, not enough action, too much talking, lots of story, too many themes, gets weird. Batman is like hard up against it the entire time.
He's a mess.
Yeah.
He's a total mess. Like, he's clearly both like physically and psychologically a mess.
Yeah. He's kind of hollowed out.
All of the people that we loved in The Dark Knight and were like, yeah, these people did the right thing at the end of it. They're broken because of that decision.
Mm-hmm. And the society is better, but
sort of.
It gets so much worse because of that decision.
Yeah.
Now they're being blackmailed with the lie.
Yeah.
Because people know the truth,
Yeah.
So I think I would do Batman Begins at 10 or 11. I think I do Dark Knight at 12 or 13, and I think I do this at 14, 15. At least for my daughter, just because she doesn't really get into the violence of the things. She kind of likes it, but she likes more thinking about the characters and who people are.
Yeah.
And I think that would interest her at that age.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know if she'd like The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Well, I've continued to think about just like how heavy these topics are. Like, this is very much, in a time when we were worried about, I mean, I guess it's not like we're not worried now, but it's just become more of an everyday thing, like of terrorists blowing up stadiums, and of people like the Joker. And I mean, like, gosh, this movie came out and it carries a dark legacy with it, with the Joker shooting that occurred on opening night.
In the theater in Colorado.
I mean, all of the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises both carry like a weighty legacy outside of the movie, which is kind of tough to contend with when watching them. And they are dealing with terrifying things that it worries me to think about, like having to explain that to my kids. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's people, like, this is a thing that happened. And these are things that have happened recently in my lifetime, I don't know. It's realistic. And like, that's one of the things that people love The Dark Knight.
Right. But I was 8 when the towers fell. Yeah. I watched that happen.
Yeah.
Was it scarring? Yeah. But it's not as if that's never happened. Not the terrorist attack like that, but just, it's not as if scarring things haven't happened to people at whatever age they're at.
Yeah.
And they've just had to deal with it. And I'm not saying that we should inflict those things, but also not be necessarily so, at least for me, I don't want to be too careful about it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen, and I'd rather it happen in a controlled than accidentally.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I guess that's not a prelude to me saying, like, I don't think I want my kids to see this movie at all, but just rather that, like, it's, coming back to these movies 10 years later and just remembering my own sort of reaction to this stuff and how it affected me and how I was thinking about things. It's kind of crazy. And sort of extricating that from, like, the matter at hand. extricating like all the sort of external things that are maybe influencing the movie and also my perception of it. I don't know. It's weird and something that these movies more than a lot carry with them for me.
Right.
And so that makes it a little difficult to think about, with showing my kids. Not that I don't want to. I definitely want to show these movies to them because it's like so huge for me. But yeah, I'm probably around with you maybe a couple of years later on showing them.
Well, because you have two kids very close together.
Yeah.
That you probably want to do both of them, right?
Yeah.
So maybe one to be like a touch young and the other be a touch old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
That makes sense to me.
I do feel it makes sense. Like looking at, last time we talked about wanting to show both Batman Begins and The Dark Knight kind of back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. It makes sense to maybe space it out a little bit more with these, because we've got 3 and there's clearly like time has passed with them. And I think as kids get older, they're, I don't know, able to be more into it.
Yeah, I think so. And wanting to have something that's more than just like exciting time.
Yeah.
Right.
I want them to have read A Tale of Two Cities before they see this.
Right? I've never read A Tale of Two Cities, and I'm perfectly comfortable.
You should read A Tale. It's beautiful.
I have very little patience for Dickens.
Oh my god. Well, that's like short Dickens. It's like, all the best parts of
Didn't I just get done off Mike telling you that I was kind of done with fiction?
It is a far, far better thing that I do.
I'm sure.
Yeah. They quoted in this.
Yep.
Dude, the scene with Cillian Murphy with Scarecrow, the kangaroo court, that was awesome.
That was really cool.
That was really great.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
It's like exile. It's like, all right, death by exile. And then he chooses exiles to go on the ice. The other guy's like, if you think I'm walking out on that ice, you got another thing coming. He's like, all right, death by exile. I like they're not shooting anyone. They're just like, you walk on that ice. Like that's how everyone's getting their jollies off. Is like watching people sink under ice.
Yeah, great.
No, there would be like lynchings.
Yeah. There's other ways of killing people.
Yeah, that was really funny. But I think my favorite scene in this one, it was hard for me because I enjoyed so much of it. I enjoyed so many individual things. I mean, I'm a choreography guy, so I love the Bane fight. Bane fight's fantastic. I like that it's utterly silent. I used to not like that. I used to think that some music would have been better. And there's actually some cool YouTube videos of people who have layered in different scores from some of Hans Zimmer's movies.
Wait, which Bane fight?
Where he kills Batman.
Breaks his back. Yeah.
But I think it's better silent.
Yeah.
Because it's humiliating. Because every time that we've seen a Batman fight scene, it's come with the Batman music, because he's ruling. And in this one, he's just getting owned every other second.
Yeah.
Like he can't fight this guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, Bane's actively laughing at him. Like, where's your strength, dude? Like, peace has not been good for you.
Yeah.
I'm tearing you apart. It's vicious to watch. I think I'll pick that one.
Dang it, man. That was going to be mine.
Well, let's go right on that, and let's mention a couple of too.
Yeah. I really love the opening scene.
I don't.
Oh, really?
I don't
battle
like that.
in the. You don't like the battle in the plane?
It's really stilted. It's a classic Nolan thing where like we got to find a way to film like 7 different places that are all in one tight spot, and he has to cut and move so much, and then also so much is going on and so much information is being passed to you. You're being like, wait, what? Like we got a body, and they're doing the blood transfusion, and then the plane upends, and now the geometry of the scene changes. So it's really confusing when he's cutting back and forth between who's who and where, and also being immediately put off by Aidan Gillen. And I was like, this is a rocky opening for me.
Yeah,
this is.
I love that. That's one of the things I love about Nolan is like when he does that sort of thing where he's just like hammering you with exposition and just like cutting between things that are also exposition.
It's so confusing.
But then like you're left thinking about it for the rest of the movie. I really love that.
I didn't get what was happening in that until after I finished watching it the second time. Then I was like, oh, right. It's just so that they show that they have the doctor and that everyone else thinks the doctor's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
It was already got the CIA.
That's why I've been thinking about this for like 7 weeks.
I will say it's a rad shot when they're hanging onto the rope and the plane falls out.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's incredible.
That was amazing.
It's amazing.
And I just like, too, that Nolan's like, I don't know, let's just do it real.
They did do it real, right?
Yes, they did.
That's amazing.
I just like, or like in Tenet, when he like takes a plane through a building. It's great when he decides the easiest way to do this is just to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so much less expensive than trying to CGI this.
Yeah.
And it looks so much better. Like, there's a couple CGI shots you can see.
Yeah.
But I think it looks good.
Yeah. The thing where he like pretends to shoot the guy, like that stuck with me
because it was so stupid.
Well,
even in the moment when he did it, even before Bane said anything, it's like, that's dumb.
Yeah,
don't know that he didn't die.
I don't know. It's just like I was like, that's interesting. I don't know.
I probably would have I don't know why they didn't just kick him out of the plane.
I never seen it.
Oh.
I never seen it. I was like, never thought of that. Next time I'm trying to interrogate two people and get one of them to talk to me,
you won't do that.
I won't do that
because it's not convincing.
Because it's going to be Bane.
Well, no, because the other person will have the same question, like, why did he shoot him?
And all he has to do is just talk.
Yeah, just
yes. Fair. The CIA guy's an idiot.
Yes,
but I love that scene. I wholeheartedly love it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What's another one that you really like?
I really enjoyed the introduction of Catwoman.
Yeah.
I like, she's like a clumsy, not good at her job waitress at the party, and then goes upstairs and he's going through Bruce Wayne's stuff, and then Bruce Wayne, who's not used to this, like, he fires the arrow right next to her head. I like their interchange because it shows immediately that they really have chemistry, and I like her very subtle reveal where she stops being apologetic and just turns into like, all right, well, I took your stuff, okay?
Yeah.
So I hope you're happy.
What are you going to do? Beat up a girl? That would be like me beating up a cripple.
And she goes over and like, kicks the cane out.
That's so great.
I liked it a lot.
I completely forgot Anne Hathaway was in this movie. And even after seeing her, I completely forgotten what she did.
Right.
So I was like, oh, she's Catwoman! It was like seeing it for the first time.
Nice.
I loved it.
I also love the chase scene at the Gotham Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
And what was that one guy said? This is a stock exchange. There's no money here. It's like, what are you all doing? That was fantastic. And
Bane thinks he's the funniest guy.
He is really funny.
He's really funny.
And
he thinks he's really funny too.
He's got the confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna wear a face mask, and also he does this thing my wife and I noticed that's really interesting. He stands like a fighter.
Yeah.
He stands like he's always like a boxer,
He's always
holding on to his lapels.
Yeah.
Always at ease, like ready to go. But it's also a weird posture, and he does a lot of weird face and hand stuff. It's very gentle almost all the time. He's very gentle, which is really unnerving.
Well, even when like he kills Ben Mendelsohn, that's a really weird. Like, I don't know what's going on. He doesn't just twist his neck and like break his neck, because you hear Mendelsohn like screaming in the background. Like, he lays his hand like really strangely on his shoulder. It's like palm open. It's almost like a gift sort of thing. And then he's sort of like, I don't know. It's weird.
It's a strange.
It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah. I just get the sense of so much power in him.
Yeah.
So much. Like, he looks like a spring.
Yeah.
But he's calm too, which I think it's very effective as a villain.
How about the scene when like the cops fight the bad guys at the end?
Cool.
The culmination.
Giant riot.
Riot. It's so great.
I turned to my wife at a certain point and I was like, Batman in the Snow is the best Batman.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Like, even though that game Arkham Origins isn't fantastic,
it's not.
But it looks amazing. Yeah, that's how Batman, like, Gotham should always be frozen. There should just be rain coming down, and it should only be like black and white.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just down there pounding away at each other.
It's so weird because it's not nighttime; it's daytime. And they're out there fighting in the bright of day.
Yeah, and these cops who've been like underground for 2 months or whatever.
This has got to be so smelly.
Yeah. They come out and all the people just like turn around and run from the smell.
Yeah.
I think they've been keeping up. I think they've been keeping the morale up.
Yeah.
Because I think they're probably training down there.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's like the revolution.
Yeah.
Against
the
revolution.
The revolution. It's a counter-revolution.
The counter-revolution.
It's to restore the previous thing.
Bad guys.
Get the corrupt cops back in there.
Yeah, all these guys are on someone's payroll. This is Gotham after all.
But at least they're not Blackgate prisoners,
That's true. That's true.
I think they really lost out on a chance to have some more classic Batman villains, but I kind of like that.
Yeah. Can we talk about that a little bit? Just like how this movie... So one of the things about Bane that I know from the Arkham games, and you're much more of a Batman scholar than I am.
Indeed.
A Batman.
Batman.
As we, but Bane in the games, like he has this like potion thing that he has to inject. Yeah, Titan, and
it's like a steroid.
He's a super steroid soldier. You know, like he's drug fueled.
Yeah.
But he's not in this.
No.
He is just strong,
lethal,
and like no other.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
So the games are interesting because they deal with Bane in a strange way. They kind of act like Bane's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
And actually, in the comics, he's not ever like that.
Okay.
That's a weird, like, started in Batman and Robin, where he's just an idiot. He's just a roided up mess, which is also funny that in a movie where you cast Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's not playing the bodybuilder. Don't understand why that was, but then in the games, like we get some of the accent back because he is foreign. I believe he's like Puerto Rican or South American.
Okay,
no, Spanish. I think he's Spanish generally.
Oh, yeah.
But he's actually known for being a brilliant tactician.
Okay,
and his cool conflict is that to accomplish his ends, he needs to use this Titan stuff. But this Titan stuff overwhelms his tactical brain.
Okay. So
he's constantly at war, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like a brilliant, technical, militaristically powerful guy.
Yeah.
Who's really strong, who is warring with this substance that he can't stop using.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's a really cool idea. And so to completely go away from that and just have him have a breathing thing. They don't even talk about what it is. It's just like a thing.
He needs it to breathe. It looks like springs.
Or else it's excruciatingly painful. Well, they're little tubes.
They look like springs, though.
Well, because she reconnects them later at the end, and they're like little tubes. Yeah. But I don't get what they're doing.
They look like springs, though.
They're tubes.
Yeah. But they look...
Shut up.
They look like springs.
They look like tubes.
I'm pretty sure they are springs.
I don't understand what that is.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know why it's there. They don't try very hard to explain it.
It doesn't matter. This is a superhero movie. You don't need to explain it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't explain everything.
But it's a weird choice. It's a weird choice to completely abandon anything that this character had in common with the old character and only keep the face mask.
That is similar to the old character. Like it is Titan that he's had in like the comics. Or
yeah.
Okay.
Or they call it different things, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All you have now is just a brilliant tactician who's really strong.
Yeah. Well, going along with the hyper realism of the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
But it seems like as it goes along, it gets less comic booky in a lot of ways. Like this is something. It's not really a comic. In a lot of ways, it isn't really a comic book movie, other than the fact that like Batman's able to heal and fight with no cartilage in his legs and broken back.
Yeah,
and like
which they work very hard to try and explain. At least make you feel it, if not totally understand it.
Yeah,
right. And
which is okay here.
Yeah, and it's partially based upon the comic Nightfall.
Okay.
Some of the broad beats of the story are there.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it too. Like there were so many rumors. Like I guess originally Nolan this was going to be the Joker back,
right?
Partially, and there was going to be another villain who was going to be working it. But then the passing of Heath Ledger made that impossible.
That's right. Yeah.
But there was a lot of questions as to what was going to happen. The Riddler, I think they deemed too ridiculous. They couldn't find a way to make him make sense. And I was thinking back to all of Batman's villains, and honestly, if you're done with Scarecrow, you're done with Falcone, you're done with Ra's al Ghul, you're done with the Joker, it's got to be Bane.
Yeah.
There's no one else it could be that's not ridiculous. Because, like, the Penguin's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Riddler's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, these are comic book things. They're not epic things. What's epic? Well, in a lot of ways, for Dark Knight Rises, what if Batman had to fight his younger self, which is basically Bane?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the flip side, too, is someone who's principled, someone who's accepting the other way. And it continues to get the stakes higher and higher each time. And he's fighting over the soul of the city every time, but finally, like, it's the city and is cut off from everyone else, and it will be destroyed.
You have to fix this, Bruce. You have to find a way to beat this guy.
Yeah.
This guy who's as good as you were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't really like that because they avoided so long same versus same fights. And it was amazing when they finally decided to do a same versus same. It's like the way that Logan decided to do same versus same, which is younger versus older.
Yeah.
And I was funny just thinking about Logan. I was like, wait, did you guys steal that from this? Did you steal that from this?
I love that imagery of of like here he is finally in the light, and like I guess maybe like doubling down into the idea of like the stakes getting higher. It seems like in each of the situations he's almost given a choice of like sacrificing himself to save the city, or not sacrificing himself to save the city a little less. And you know, when he doesn't like let himself die, or the Bat die, like something worse happens. So the Bat doesn't die after he defeats Ra's al Ghul.
This is interesting. Yeah.
And the Joker comes because of that. Escalation. And then he doesn't turn himself in as Batman. And like worse stuff happens, so he continues the lie. He perpetuates the lie, and then he makes an even bigger lie about Two-Face, that he was never Two-Face.
Yeah.
And things get even worse because all of the good people, the few really, really good people, are broken by the fact that it's a lie, this horrible lie about what happened. And we get Bane. Bane's able to come in, and Talia al Ghul is able to come in, and Gotham really is going to get destroyed because these lies have taken a toll on the spirit, and like the moral spirit and like the physical body of Batman. And you can't really count on like your body holding up for decades on end to fight, to punch these down. So finally, like, this movie has to end with his death.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, then nothing matters. Like, he's finally learned that he needs to let go of the Bat.
And it's what's interesting is like it's not even as if he hadn't have come along, things would have been better. They wouldn't have been. The city was in outright chaos from the start. And if he hadn't had done anything, then Ra's al Ghul would have come and destroyed the city anyway.
Yeah.
Because the microwave emitter plan was already in place before Batman was really on the scene. So the microwave emitter would have happened. They would have released Joker's fear toxin into the city, and we would have been done from there. The city would have been gone.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
So he has caused a lot of the problems by his own existence, but he also has kind of exorcised the demons from inside of Gotham over the years.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is exactly right. He does have to die, but it's not as if he had died earlier or hadn't started at all, it would actually have been better.
Yeah, it would have been worse because they would all have died. But the Joker wouldn't have come.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in that way it would be better.
It's true. He would have gone somewhere else.
Nothing would have been there.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy.
I wonder if that's something about like the process of getting over trauma too, or something. I don't know.
It could be saying something about the trauma. I think that The Dark Knight and Batman Begins are much more about emotions, and I don't think this movie is as much about emotions.
Well, okay, say what you mean by that. Yeah,
because it seems as if we've taken a more thematic approach as opposed to an emotional approach.
Yeah,
the characters are growing, and there is emotion happening, but it's much subtler, and it's because these huge actions are taking place, these huge epic actions, and so therefore the emotions are a little more muted just because of the sheer number of activity, right?
Yeah.
But there's still moments of it where it really does work well, but it doesn't feel emotionally like Batman Begins or The Dark Knight. It doesn't feel like those movies. It feels a little bit more at a distance.
You know, I almost feel the reverse. No. Maybe because, I don't know.
I just felt like that Batman Begins was like right up in your face, man.
Yeah.
Like the whole training montage is just emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's just the emotion here is really different. Like both of those kind of are focused on like a young man like who's angry, and here it's an older person who is angry and sad.
Kind of defeated.
Yeah, someone who's defeated despite having these victories and holding on to the past and sort of like building a memorial to it with his life, deciding not to do anything else because, you know, like, but because Rachel, you know, and he's got the whole house is all shuttered up and he doesn't go out or anything because like his life no longer
is functionally over.
It's functionally over. He's done everything he needs to do. And now he's just waiting around to die.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, that doesn't sound like he's not necessarily despairing. He's off, right? Which is why it's like he's been turned off.
Yeah.
Which is why when I say the emotions feel at a distance, is because he's got nothing.
Okay.
He's emoting nothing.
Yeah.
At
he's
all.
at a total distance
for almost nothing for almost the entire movie, and he's the main character.
Yeah.
And so it's always been about his emotional journey through these movies, and here we find him at the lowest point of the low, which is he's flatlined.
Yeah.
Right. He's a walking corpse. And it takes him so long to kind of come back that when he wakes up in the pit, that actually
feels like the start of the movie.
The movie's starting, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes triumphant and glorious. But it's just that's hour 2, or like 1 hour and 30 minutes basically into the movie, which is funny that it takes so long.
Yeah.
And I really like that. Yeah. But that's what I'm more talking about.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And it makes more room too for some other people to have some more emotional payoff. Anne Hathaway has some good emotional beats with her character, talking about how she wants to start over and then the fear that she has of Bane. And you see why that is. And Bane gets to have an interesting time, as like kind of a zealot of himself, of the League.
Oh my gosh, dude, when they bring Gordon into him, he's like, why are you here?
Why did you think this was a good idea?
You brought the police commissioner? They're like, now you have to die. I'm like, what?
He's like, which of you did that? He's like, bang,
you're dead.
And after you take care of this, you're gonna kill yourself too.
Yeah. Right? Like, oh no, he's gone. Like, where's he going? Oh, he could have gone anywhere. Like, well, you can follow him. Boom.
Brilliant. It's great. Brilliant.
It's great. That is leadership.
Yes, it is. It's swift, decisive decision making. That's correct.
Yeah.
No, and I also like Talia too. The stuff that Talia says, you see like the rage that's built up. In her. It just seems like, as we were saying before, this ostensibly is about Batman, but it's really about everyone else.
Yeah. I love like his journey though in it. Like, I mean, I don't know. The imagery is heavy-handed, but like he has to get completely broken. He's already almost completely broken.
And
then his back gets broken.
He's got to
get into the pit. And he's literally in a pit, and he has to.
Is this Plato's pit?
Yeah. He has to climb out of the pit of despair. Like the pit of despair. Despair.
Sorry about that.
I have to say, able to come back. Yeah.
If you tuned into here, and if you were thinking to yourself, "Oh yes, they will talk about Plato's allegory for the pit and how it works in this movie," because Nolan is classically educated. I'm not interested in having that conversation.
Oh yeah. Wait, people talk about the pit
in
terms of, I mean, like, because every pit is like the allegory because it's a pit. And like caves are caves. Like, this is why it's an allegory.
Indeed. But it's people like talking about that.
I mean, like, okay, yes, it is, but it's more like about, I feel like it's more about depression than it is about like, because like the reason why he's in a pit of despair is because the love of his life is dead and his parents are dead, and like he saved the city and he told a lie and everyone's depressed and he can't see his friends because his friends were all people he met while he was dressed up as a bat, not dealing with his problems.
Yep. Men will literally dress up as a bat and beat criminals rather than go to therapy. I've been thinking of a couple of memes for this too. Like, there's like the meme. It's a picture of Batman like swinging in the pit, hanging from the rope by his midsection. And it's just going to be called like me going to therapy. And there's going to be a picture of me on my rad as hell bike, wearing my awesome armor, speeding down, chasing down criminals. Like me not going to therapy because it's true. If this was that, like, I'm imagining now a 2-person HBO show where it's Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne sitting in one chair, and then it's the bat suit standing next to him, and it's just like scenes from a marriage. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
No. So it's talking about depression. It's also talking about a lot of social issues, a lot of class themes.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff about government, a lot of stuff about free will and choice and how people want to be. And it's about a lot of stuff. And it doesn't say much about a lot of that. It just brings it up, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the questions raised in Batman Begins, it doesn't answer those questions. Like, it answers some of them, but not as many as it brings up.
Yeah.
And this one seems to be bringing up a lot of things to broaden the scale of the story.
Yeah. And it seems like things that we were all talking about at the time too. Which is one of the things that's interesting about all of these is that, so we've talked about this in each of the episodes, like how have they aged given like the, I don't know, but how have they aged in terms like they're definitely of their time to some degree or another.
Yeah.
And something I feel like we've been circling around, but haven't maybe said straight out, is that it seems like the ideas maybe are of their time, but they're also like kind of all times. Like people have been talking about it since Plato, and the movies themselves aren't exactly of their times. It's the ideas that were just big at that time, very present in them.
Yeah.
And so like right now they're not really. They seem maybe a little trivial,
because we've just seen. I don't know if in 2012 we knew that in 2022 the world would seem so.
Yeah,
you know,
we hadn't been through a global pandemic in about 100 years.
Yeah, we didn't realize like things were actually like bouncing back from the '08 crash.
Yeah.
Things were actually like going pretty well. We were making 2012 jokes.
Yeah,
because things were going so well for everybody.
We're like, the world's gonna end.
Yeah, but I was having the time of my life around this time.
Yeah,
and so the idea is like, I think what you're pointing to is really cool, because there's very few things in this movie that I would ever say would date poorly. Actually, specifically, one thing I thought is already dated and looks terrible is the bomb. Looked like shit. It looked really dumb. I was so just taken out of the movie by the bomb. I was like, well, it looks dumb.
Huh?
Why does it look dumb? And I hadn't really noticed that before.
I did not feel that way.
I just thought it looked really.
But I'm not really like a connoisseur of.
It just looked like stuff in movies from that time, and stuff like in movies now doesn't look like that.
I guess that's true.
But apart from that, the conversation is specific yet universal, right?
Yeah.
Which is what all good art is.
Yeah.
It's specific to this creator and what he wants to talk about, and it seems like what Nolan's always wanted to talk about with these three movies, him and his brother and David S. Goyer. They want to talk about. They want to tell, like you were saying before, a full Batman story, because there's been a couple full Batman stories, but every time Batman dies, he finds his way back. Even when he's like dead. Even when they kill him dead. Kind of find a way back, or the legend lives on. Like this happened in a couple runs where Nightwing takes over as Batman.
Right.
But then like the Batman from a different realm or dimension or whatever comes back, and now he's Batman.
Yeah.
But they did it. They told a story from beginning to end. Batman began, he was, and he was over. And isn't that cool that we told a story that takes place over, like, what, 15 years?
Yeah, something like that.
From like 25 to 40.
Yeah.
And then we're out. And the growth of a city happened. And a city's soul was recovered.
Yeah. And
had its demons expunged. And now gets to live on in the bright nuclear dawn, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I really like it. And I really like that Bruce Wayne gets to live on.
Yeah.
As well.
And he just gets to look at Alfred and not hate him. And Alfred gets to know that. And they get to part ways, you know? Although I really do hope that they don't actually.
I know. Like, that didn't seem right. I was like, you know what?
He's going to go over there and say hi.
Yeah.
You know, he's only going on vacation. Maybe he's just going to move out there.
Yeah. They can't have just be, like, Ray can't be that bad.
Plus, like, I don't know where Bruce Wayne's getting this money from. Okay, he broke. Yeah.
He broke.
And he has no actual skills.
Well,
he has some software programming. Like, is he going to come up with an app?
He does. He is dating the best cat burglar out there.
It's true, but do you think he's going to let her keep stealing?
Maybe she'll just say she's got a great job.
I think the world's greatest detective is going to know.
He doesn't have any cartilage.
Yeah, I mean, she could just beat him up. I don't know. I want to. It was so specific that he's at that bar at that time. I know. They got to be reconnected. He's his dad.
Okay, but I remember there were people who were saying, like, this is not actually what happens. This is Michael Caine's dream. Alfred's dream.
So when you're watching movies, guys, for people who believe that, when you're watching movies, filmmakers will use certain techniques to make the audience believe something or to tell the audience things. Something like a POV shot, you know, where you're looking from someone's point of view. Or a shot that shows you, I don't know, objectively what's happening. Which, in this one, there is no POV shot. There's actually nothing to suggest that we are taking anything except shooting one actor, and then we're shooting another actor, and one actor looks at the other actor, and then the actor smiles. All right?
But it's like kind of fuzzy lighting.
It was fuzzy lighting in his dream. It doesn't, no, it's not. It's reality. Batman wins.
Yeah.
He wins by
Bruce Wayne wins. Batman also wins by dying.
The mask is finally gone.
Yeah.
The mask was Batman. and Bruce Wayne gets to live.
Great movie.
Great movie.
This is a great movie.
Great movie. And you know what?
It's so weird.
Not knocking Dark Knight.
It's a weird movie though.
Yeah.
But it's great.
It's unexpected.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything that you think it's going to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's why everyone is mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why I was mad.
I dug it.
Yeah, I know. Well, sometimes you're a prophet.
I'm a prophet.
I said sometimes.
Everyone's going to love Limbo someday.
I don't know, man. When I'm 40, I'll call you up, okay?
Awesome.
But for everyone, like, I'm not yucking on your yum. I'm just saying I prefer this to The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
saying.
not like you're saying The Dark Knight is bad.
No.
You're just saying that you enjoy this more at this point in your life.
Yeah, I think the things that are going on here are more interesting to me.
I don't know. I'm wondering if I think that too. I might think that.
Give it some thought.
Yeah.
Because right now, I don't know. I like a longer movie that gives me stuff to think about. And it's not like I don't have stuff to think about with The Dark Knight, but I've just thought about the stuff in The Dark Knight so much, it feels a little useless.
It's really fun too how like the city you watch like the city's like new sort of power structure take over. Like that's fun.
It is fun.
I dig that. And like when they're chasing down like the different trucks.
Yes, that was really cool.
That was great.
That was really fun.
Yeah.
And I like how Batman's like, as per usual, I'm going to be doing something intensely personal, and Gordon, I'm going to need you to rescue the soul of the city. And I kind of want Gordon to be like, remember that time when you said you were going to rescue Rachel and I was supposed to go for Harvey, and how I totally messed that one up? Maybe you blow up, you get the cars, and I'll handle the other stuff. Oh, man. All right, well, so I guess, next week we will also be without Jesse.
Yes.
So we're going to make a little bit of an announcement here. We're going to come at you with three...
Wait. Before we do that, is this a dad movie?
Oh, I was going to say that.
You're going to save that?
I wanted people to listen to the end.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hold that thought, Mike. So we're doing it. I'm talking to myself.
I just wanted to say that next week we're going to be without Jesse, and me and Mike and some collaborators are going to come together to do a new 3-week movie thing.
Here for 3 weeks only, and the rest of the internet's history.
That's right. Boy, I got to be careful with what I say sometimes. But we're going to be doing Maximum Cage.
Maximum Cage!
Which is an idea we've batted around for a long time, but we are picking 3 Nicolas Cage movies to talk about.
Kind of at random.
Kind of at random.
Not at random. Too.
There is a thread.
Just like everything Nicolas Cage has done. Maybe?
Is there a reason? Yeah. But we're going to be picking at least the first one, just to get you guys prepped. The first one is going to be 1987's Moonstruck, the romantic comedy directed by Norman Jewison, starring Cher and Nicolas Cage.
Can't wait.
This is the weirdest movie that we've picked yet to do an full episode on.
We're really excited about the guest that will be joining us.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big fan of Moonstruck.
He's a big fan of Moonstruck. Do we tell him it is?
Let's wait.
Nice.
Make him wait.
Good. But so that's just letting you guys know what's coming up for the next 3 episodes. And then hopefully we'll be rejoined by Jesse. But until then, we have to ask, is this a dad movie? Mike.
Yes, this is a dad movie. 100%. Definitely. I mean, it's about a city. The battle for the city's soul. It's great. It's Batman.
It talks a lot about class structure, which is like a fun dad thing to talk about.
It's about like this dude who climbs out of a place. It's about like defending a young girl so that she can go on and like become a terrible human.
But
it's about beautiful.
It's about finding love.
And about leaving behind the past.
I was really thinking, watching, Batman and Catwoman fall in love. I was like, wow, he really did find love in a hopeless place.
There you go. Exactly. Vito, is this a dad movie?
Absolutely, especially because of insufferable takes like the one I just gave about how I like this more than The Dark Knight. That's pretty dad. I mean, a couple friends of the show who have insufferable takes, and this is what I have, and I can't wait until I can grow up to be a big boy and my kids have their friends over and they're talking about these movies, because I'm sure they'll do that. I don't know. And I'll be like, that third one's the best one, and everyone will be like, boo. It'll be fun.
And then like 10 years after that, they'll be like, Mr. Vito was pretty, right. He was onto something here.
That's right, kiddies. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, that was a good episode.
That was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Vito.
For all of us at Not Your Father's Movies, I'm Vito.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jesse.
Good night.
And I'm Jesse.